Blessings, 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 blessings be unto you. This is Mercedes Warrick, and welcome to Sacred Key. I have been in deep contemplation for a couple of weeks because I really feel that our country has been in the midst of great change and evolution. And I found myself caught up in the energies of that, which was a happy thing for me because that was an indication of health. But it was also a little disturbing because we're walking through this energetic field that is so charged with so many different perspectives. And as always, I have been attempting to bring myself back into center, back into core, and not be mesmerized and caught up with all of the different opinions and shifts. And then there's the things that are happening just in daily, everyday living, right? So here is, I'm going to take a shot at this because it would be so tempting to be polarized or fragmented in and getting caught up in, as we would say, being of the world. I want to be in the world, but fully centered and fully in my peace. So a few years ago, I received an acronym, the REAL, and REAL is energize, realized energy, actualized in life. So it is the coming of the spiritual energy being realized, it's real, so that it can be actualized and becomes present or experienced or expressed in life. And at the time when I was in contemplation, I was having a difficult time talking to people about, like the metaphysical cliche that life is an illusion, and we go through what is happening, what we're experiencing is not real, and all of the different stress that people were having, and the sort of the spinning that was happening, because it's really happening. This experience is really happening to me. I really have to deal with it, but at the same time, it's some metaphysical expression of illusion, and I have to tell that to my landlord because I've got to pay the rent. It does, there was all of this spinning. And so when real came, realized energy actualized in life, it put most of the situations that I was dealing, if not all of them, I was dealing with at the time into an energetic expression, which meant from my perspective that it could be shifted. It could be transmuted. It was still happening, but I could see the energy around it. And therefore, I knew that it could be moved. Way early on, I told the story of the mountain, that if there's a mountain in front of me, a lot of times, or even at the time when I was working with somebody, I could see the mountain, but I would see the energy of the mountain. I wouldn't see the mountain itself, which meant that the mountain as energy was porous. We could go through it. We could come into synergy with that mountain and then energetically and then move to the other side of it. And sometimes we get directed to go underneath the mountain. Sometimes we are directed to stay on this side of the mountain and not try to get around the mountain. Other times we can get around the mountain, or we can go over the top of the mountain. So these are all energetic perspectives, right? So as I've been in contemplation this week, it's been a little, I don't want to use the word confusing, but it's been circular, and there's been, these different swirling energies that have been coming into view. And I asked the divine, and what I received was kind of interesting. so this morning, in this morning's contemplation, I did as one womb this morning, and in this morning's contemplation, I had been listening to Richard Rohr, and he was saying something about third eye seeing. And I thought about that for a moment, and I went into contemplation. My guidance said third eye seeing, or divine eye seeing, and divine heart breathing. And when we come into those two places or states of consciousness and awareness, and we begin to look at what's in front of us or what we're experiencing through the divine eye and breathing it through the divine heart, it changes the frequency so we can see things differently. And then I heard everything is a metaphor. So I went to the dictionary, because that's what I do, and it was like, okay, a metaphor is like a telling of a story, a different perspective. Matter of fact, I think I wrote it down here. It's symbolic of something. A metaphor is not literal, and it is symbolic of something. I started thinking about the abortion issue, crisis, however you want to position it. And all week I've been saying everybody's right. I mean, there's only one life. So there's life at conception. There's life as the baby develops in the womb. There's life when the heartbeat comes. There's life as the mother gives birth, when the baby comes into the world. And if there wasn't a continuum of life, then including life after death, we pass the portal of shedding the physical body. When we come out of the womb, we don't stay as infants. We evolve into adult human beings. We are always, and then from being whatever adult is into being wisdom keepers, elders, and then transitioning. Life is always present. And so when I was looking and I said, okay, let me sit here this morning and really think about this and put it into contemplation and see it through the divine eye and breathe it through the divine heart, everybody had a position that was valid, loving, and so how do we know that for each other? Because really we're all this chaos and confusion. And I'm just using this because it's in the news right now, but in any situation where there is conflict or disagreement or misunderstanding, as well as our daily living and just traversing our daily living and attempting to understand something that may be before us, right? There is that, I'm going to say, a shift in perspective, that visionscape, that 5-degree shift in perspective that comes through the pause, the exhalation, shifting our consciousness, coming into the awareness of the divine, and then be able to hear through the divine ear. I just got that. Hear through the divine ear, see through the divine eye, and breathe through the divine heart. And then come into that which is for you. Because I think we can all be in the same situation, all be in the same room, and see, hear, feel, and experience uniquely. And so what the revelation in As One Womb was this morning was, we all carry that unique perspective and that unique light into the world, And that is our gift to bring forward. That is our voice to bring forward. That is our blessing to bring forward. Through the understanding that there are many different ways of perceiving the same one thing. So I was very grateful, because it has been about 2 weeks of contemplating and massaging and trying to stay out of the middle of it and trying to understand what was happening. And again, trying to get myself back to a place of core center, because I haven't taken a side, I guess, for lack of a better way. I'm not trying to be in to win so the other side can lose, or to have a perspective that is so adamant that it supersedes everything else that may be part of the realized and actualized living for somebody that's having a different experience than I am having. So I'm gonna massage that a little bit. I'm going to massage it. We all bring a radiant light to the conversation. So the last thing I would like to say is that radiant light, that light that we bring forth, that voice that we speak through, the hurt that we feel through, can be different. And even when we look at a frequency, and we say everything is love, right? But everything is love, but what frequency of love? Is it compassion? Is it grace? Is it mercy? Is it understanding? So we all bring that radiant light, that radiant perspective. And so the richness of this transmission has been that we all can bring something into this world, into a situation that will allow us to come into a one whole holiness where we can revere our humanity. Okay? Blessings be unto you. Namaste. May you know the divine intimately.